this is Joe Biden. And then the White House didn't walk this one back or try to say, oh, he was just answering a question. He's not actually ordering investigation. Because the National Security Advisor then doubles down. But take a listen.
Do you think Elon Musk is a threat to U.S. national security? And should the U.S., and with the tools you have, investigate his joint acquisition of Twitter with foreign governments, which include the Saudis?
I think that Elon Musk's cooperation and/or technical relationships with other countries is worthy of being looked at.
They are using the tools of government to intimidate and scare people. Also, it divides people. It causes this division. Like Twitter now it's a political statement. Just using it, I guess. Yep. But then Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, gets brought into the discussion.
President yesterday said that it should be that the Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter should be looked into as a potential threat to national security. Can you offer anything about why? And he also said there are many ways to look into that. How would you look into that?
Well, you heard the president yesterday, and the CFIUS process is the normal process through which transactions that might have a national security nexus get reviewed, and I will defer to the CFIUS process.
Again, it's like, who's a threat to national security bigger? Hunter Biden going around the world as a crackhead doing business deals with his dad as the president? That's a pretty wild... Yeah. That's kind of like a loose cannon.
Or even in the social media front, you had the whole TikTok controversy and whether what TikTok was doing or not doing. That, I'm sure, needed to be looked into maybe
that's
more
the Chinese
aggressively.
Just stealing data and influencing.
Yeah, but Twitter,
which is just a bunch of words.
And now that it's just become now more ads and maybe more...
monetized?
Yeah, and more middle of the pack to right-leaning or libertarian leaning. And just by ownership alone. This came from CNN's newsletter last night. They said the world is watching while the world's richest man single-handedly destroys one of the world's most powerful and important communication platforms, just weeks after acquiring it for $44 billion.
Bunch of trolls.
Yeah, but maybe it was your most effective, but now that it's not just a liberal cesspool, it's hard to succinctly summarize the absolute chaos. This is again from that CNN report that has consumed Twitter over the last 12 hours as Elon Musk continues to wreak havoc on Silicon Valley company. It feels like the beginning of the end, honestly. One recently laid off Twitter employee candidly told me Thursday evening, describing the company as a Titanic with everyone looking for lifeboats. My favorite part about that is, one, the company was already sinking miserably. It wasn't like all of a sudden Twitter was this
never made money.
Incredibly financial success. So to me, I've always said this, I have no stake in the Elon Musk game, but what I will say is if two things can happen, it's a win-win. Either it becomes a place to actually go and have a entertaining, interesting conversation, kind of goes back to old Twitter, or he blows it all up and it goes out of business. Either way, win-win for the world.